Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, Democracy Games. On Democracy Games, we empower citizens to participate actively in the democracy. Today, I am your host, and my name is BENEDICTA ADYO. We are going to be discussing the topic, Citizen Guide to Civic Participation Beyond Elections. And with me today is a guest who is going to be sharing so much insight and value. We are going to discuss extensively into this topic to see how citizens can begin to participate in the electoral process and the democracy beyond the elections. I will give him the mic to introduce himself perfectly. Mr. Ako, over to you.
Thank you so much. Good day, Nigerians. My name is OGBADU. I'm happy to be here today. I currently provide technical lead for ADYO initiative, a project targeted at improved service delivery, public service delivery in Nigeria.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir, Mr. Ako, for honoring our invitation and being here today. Sir, we won't waste much time. We'll go straight into the discussion. Sir, when you heard about this topic, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
When I heard about this topic, the first thing that came to my mind is about our responsibilities as citizens, about what we ought to do year-round and not seasonally, about how much of noise, demand we need to keep making, and that the more we make it, the better it is for people to hear. The more we make it, the more we put pressure, we put demand on the system, the more we are able to hold government to account, or able to hold our leaders to account, and for ourselves, the more we are able to also act properly as responsible citizens.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction. So I'll move forward to ask that as a young citizen, because in Nigeria, the population of youth is so large. And when it comes to elections, there's not so much participation from the youth. How can you maybe give us strategies or give us maybe an insight into how we can shift away from onlookers as youths in Nigeria to active participation around election time and beyond the elections?
Thank you so much, Benedicta. The issue you have mentioned is a very important one. Across the world, young people are being detached from decision-making processes, are moving away from civic participation, are choosing other things that, of course, obviously, the public decisions will have impact on, but that they are not fully aware. They tend to go towards social gathering, towards sporting activities, towards social media engagement and all of that. And even sometimes their social media engagement does not generate the civic duties that are expected of young people. Why these ventures or adventures are still okay, why they are good, it is how we use them to amplify our own rights, how we use them to protect our rights, and how we use them to improve societies that matters. And there are different reasons for this. A lot of people have said because of over time, children or young people were pushed back by the older generations who have stayed in power for too long. People say because, of course, young people have found social media as a resting place and they no longer care. Some people say because of lack of dividends of public services, improved public services for young people. So young people tend to carry power bank when there is no light to provide themselves energy. Young people are the one, hustling for things that public services should have catered for. And so for this reason, they just feel that government is not useful to them. And because of that, you see them choosing paths that move them completely away from interacting with political leadership, democratic processes, and of course, carrying their duties. So what can we do? Like you say, what are the strategies that can be implemented? The first thing is our voter education must resonate with young people. If we call them to say, come and vote, come and vote, then they are likely not to come out to vote because we are not telling them why
they should vote. Yes.
They need to understand that as a young people, government can ban TikTok tomorrow. Especially if you start putting pressure on government to do the right thing. Government can ban TikTok tomorrow. They need to understand that as young people, what they wear has taxes that are paid on it. Young people like to wear very cashy things and all of that. These things, are we producing them here? Mostly no. And if they are coming to the country, or even if they are produced here, government put taxes on it. Those taxes are not paid by the producers or the marketers if they are imported or if they are produced locally. Those taxes, the burden is transferred to young people that are procuring these materials. And so if you are giving government money on a regular basis through what you buy, then you should be able to ask government, what are you doing with this money?
Hold them accountable.
Yes, and it is in asking government that you get to say, okay, you have not done well with the money you have collected from me. Because where I'm supposed to pay 50,000 naira for a clothing material and I'm paying 54,000 naira, it means government has taken 4,000 naira from me. That extra 4,000 naira, I should know what government wants to do. It's not like young people are on the street hustling and trying to make ends meet, and then government is collecting this money just to make life beautiful for themselves and their children. So if young people understand these dynamics, they are likely to take civic responsibility seriously. In our education too, if we let them know that the food they consume can become unhygienic due to processing or moving from one value chain to the other, and who is responsible for maintaining hygiene is government. The local government is empowered to regulate abattoir. So where you have slaughterhouses for the chicken you eat, the beef you eat, and all of that, and as long as that place is not maintained, you're at risk. Your health is at risk. So local government is empowered to maintain hygienic environment around this area. Even environmental issues, the law puts this responsibility on the local government. And so young people need to understand that the actions, the duties, and the inactions of government, whether at the local government, at the state or at the federal level, will affect them in several ways. And so if we throw this education at them, we expect that they will come out. And when they should come out, and why should they come out beyond this conversation, is that if you are asking questions, first they should begin to ask questions. Where does my money that I pay goes? Who is, where are the government officials that are collecting money for parks? If I park my car in the market, they collect money. If I'm selling something in the market, in the name of revenue, government agencies collect money. If citizens begin to ask, they can do this through their social media handle, something as simple as WhatsApp status. I paid 200 naira to park my car in the parking lot today at this social market. I would like to know what is government doing with my money. This raises a lot of awareness. And if you are asking and they are not answering you on election day, you should be able to come out and say, okay, this party or this candidate has been in government for a year or for 4 years. I have asked the money that I've been paying to them, even for simple as parking vehicle somewhere where I buy things. And I've been asking, where has this money been going, or where have they been going? And nobody has answered me. I would like to show them that I have right to remove them from there until somebody is able to answer me. And then these citizens will come out to exercise their rights.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ako. From the conversation, you've given us strategies on how youths can begin to actively participate and contribute to our democracy. And through your conversation, what really struck out was the need for our youth to start holding our leaders accountable. Because if you don't hold them accountable one way or the other, whatever decisions they are making still reflects back to the society. And that begins to also shape how the young persons will also like interact with their leaders. Whether they do so or not is still a reflection. And going from here, I would like to bring into our conversation the use of the Freedom of Information Act. Because when we talk about accountability, how can we also make our young persons understand that they have a freedom, there's an act on freedom of information. How can they begin to use that to also help them in their civic action?
Thank you so much, Benedicta. You have even given teeth to what I mentioned earlier about young people even using things as simple as WhatsApp status to elicit their request for accountability around government. While they can do this on WhatsApp and people will hear, more people will join them to do so. And the more we have people, the better. And then we are able to amplify this issue. The Freedom of Information Act empowers us, even as citizens, to do much more. And this, you don't have fear of any attack or any suppression or any threat from government, because the law protects you, and it is your right as a young person not just to sit on WhatsApp. WhatsApp, like I said, is good. It can be a foundational step, but beyond that, beyond social media, beyond the communal engagement where we shout about this issue, murmur and complain, citizens, young people have rights like every other person, and the energy reside in them to be able to take their laptop and just, you don't need any letterhead to make a freedom of information request. My name is this social person. I'm writing to you based on the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act of Nigeria to ask you to give me details of how you are spending money from rates that you collect, from fines that you collect, from environmental fees that you collect, from what's it called, tenement rates that you collect. I am writing to ask you that over the time I have paid this money, and I would like to know in the last 2 years, in the last 1 year, where has this money gone to? They have rights. Failure to reply them, these citizens also have right to take legal action against government, whether local government, whether state or federal. And the law has so protected everybody, and young people should be able to do it at our age, immediately after the independence of Nigeria. Those who led us took over government. They were young people like us. And so if we don't take over the process, the government, the accountability system, then the elderly people will continue to perpetuate what they have done over the years that has made Nigeria so backward, where we can't compete with our contemporaries around the world. Young people need to find that space. They need to find that fitting, and to be able to achieve that, the Freedom of Information Act is one of the biggest instruments world over that Nigeria has, and that countries have, and including Nigeria, that young people can so rely on.
Thank you again, sir. You heard it from him. One of the biggest things you have and you've gotten from this conversation today is how you can begin to engage through the FOI, the Freedom of Information Act. Use it to engage with the government. Request for that information that you think is critical to any issue that you need urgent attention to. And I think as you're listening, you are getting value and insights on how to begin to engage with the government. So I also want to draw our attention quickly on our institution, especially the INEC, because when it comes to conversations around civic participation, especially when it has to do with the elections, and our conversation today, we are looking beyond the elections, but I would like to bring the institution, which is the INEC, and how citizens, young persons can also engage with the INEC beyond the elections, even during the elections and beyond the elections? What are the ways they can, like engage with this institution?
So for INEC, the good thing is that INEC has offices at every local government, the 774 local government that we have in this country. And for young people, over time, because of advocacy and push for openness, INEC has begun to embrace digital platforms.
Okay.
And that is why INEC is available on Facebook, on Twitter, and now has commenced in the last few years online pre-registration process for voters to make it easy for young people not to come and queue for long hours at the registration point, but rather to key in their initial details on the platform and be able to take a date that is convenient for them to come to the registration center. This has created an opportunity for more people to engage. Young people should not see this as getting any national card for any business or whatever. As a matter of fact, voter's card is useless where you have national identity card or international passport. What it gives you is a right to remove a president, is a right to put in a president, is a right to show your governor that you are more than him. It does not matter if at the end of the day you are the only one that voted against that governor, but at least you are proving to him that this is your power and you will never give to him. And so young people have this platform. They should be able to organize themselves at communal level, every community, every neighborhood where you live, whether to provide vigilante or security or some sort of things that they do within the neighborhood. Is a place to start. Engage with INEC, invite your local government electoral officers, the EUs, to the ward, to your neighborhood association, and ask them questions. The INEC has a responsibility as a stakeholder to do voter education. Ask them, the election that is coming, what is your voting process? In the light of the new Electoral Act that has talked about downloadable PVC, and we are seeing that in some other sections, that downloadable PVC is useless. You need to begin to ask questions. You need to ask INEC, what is the way forward? But beyond INEC, because INEC is a stakeholder and the law has empowered INEC, the law has empowered INEC to do voter education, engage with citizens. Beyond INEC, political parties are the owner of the stake. They are the owner. They are the stake owner. INEC is a stakeholder, but political parties world over are responsible for voter mobilization. Young people should be able to call the party representatives in their community or somewhere to say, within this neighborhood, why don't we have pipe bomb water? Why is Abuja, for example, if you are in Abuja, water board not able to reticulate water to Maitama? Not able to reticulate water to Sabongiri in Boari? Not able to reticulate water to Soka Airport Road? These questions are key. As young people, you should be able to ask them, why do you need to sink borehole everywhere?
Yes.
You know, why are they not reticulating it? Why are they not bringing light steadily? What should they be doing? Political parties should respond to some of these key public issues. Give you commitment so that you can agree with them and say, okay, if we vote for you or we want to be part of you, what will you like to do differently? And given that political parties are the vehicles to become leader, young people should take their destiny into their hands, overrun the system, become the leaders at your ward, become the leader at the local government, at the state level. And before you know, you become national leaders and you can do things differently. So INEC as an institution, young people will also need to go beyond these little openings that we have seen in INEC to ask them specifically what they want to see. Is this opening enough? No. Can it be improved? Yes. And so young people will need, based on their own need and conveniences, will have to come out to tell INEC, this is exactly what we want done. And we want that done between now and this is so period, so we are able to participate in election freely.
Wow.
And then civil society can back them up. You know, it will now be based on the need, the felt need of young people. And then we can amplify the issue across board. And I'm sure the media too will take it up from there.
Well, thank you so much, sir. As you were speaking, I couldn't help but smile, because you're giving us a lot of gems for young people out there to use, and not just engage, to also participate, to start taking ownership, leadership especially. And it doesn't mean that you are so young. No, I don't think there's anything out there for as a young person, as a youth in Nigeria, to say you are too young. I think the law empowers as a young citizens from 18, you can vote, and that already puts the power in your hand. And you also, I want to, maybe you can just give us briefly on participating maybe in civic monitoring, observation, for example. In this election of the FCT, when you are speaking, you talked about the importance of engaging at the local level, because at that local level, that is where you have representation that focus on our markets, those little things that we take for granted, and it's also important that young persons take into account that it doesn't matter how little it is, it's from that little that it builds. So how do you think, we are speaking at the federal level, state level, and all of that, but at that local level now, how can these young persons in communities especially begin to maybe monitor? And when they monitor or they observe, how do they begin to report, or how do they begin to expand, maybe bring more awareness to those issues?
Young people will first need to be observant of issues of public concern within their neighborhood. Yeah. If you have somebody that the sockaway system, the smell coming from there is bad, and you know that this thing can affect health, young people should be able to ask questions and call their local government offices to say, we have this issue, what are you doing about it? Young people should be able to organize themselves to say, okay, we're extracting commitment from a candidate for State House of Assembly, whichever state they are, for House of Representatives, or even for councillorship. And we want to know what you will do about a gully erosion in our neighborhood. Yeah. Young people will need to organize themselves to say, okay, on election day, I'm not just coming out to vote. I'm going to find a civil society organization that I can report my findings to. And so there are platforms online. Platforms abound that young people, once they do a simple search online, and find contact of one organization or the other. And the right thing to do is not just to murmur, is not to complain, is to report these incidents so that observation groups can aggregate them and make policy recommendations and follow through, so that there are changes in the future, not that we continue to repeat the same thing over time and then we keep murmuring. Our murmuring won't change anything. Beyond our murmuring, we then need to move out to be able to report this issue. Make yourself a citizen observer, come out, report whatever it is to the police, to INEC, but of course, mostly to civil society groups who can follow up with your recommendations. For every leader, the starting point is at the communal level. Tinubu did not become president without having been a governor, without having been a senator, and most importantly, without having registered as a member of a political party in his ward. The people you see today, that Atiku and the rest, they were part of the 1991 to 1993 political dispensation. They all started from their ward. There is no national leader that did not start from the ward. So young people, this is the best time. This is the best age to run into the system, to take over the system. This is the best time to then begin to follow the process and show your head that yes, you are here, you mean it, and you want to bring in a change into the system. And the best place to do it is at the local level. It is at the ward level. Everybody is attached to a particular ward. You don't become president automatically. And you can find your way there if others have done it and they are successful.
Thank you very much, sir, for that insight. You heard it from him. Start at the communal level, at the communal ward. Follow the process at your ward level, and then begin to engage. We're almost at the end of our discussion. I feel sad, but before you run off, I would like you maybe to, I know you spoke about it, but it's very important that we reiterate the contributions or the importance of democratic accountability, especially as we're going towards the 2027 general elections, which is a very critical time in our democratic dispensation. So if you can maybe reiterate on how important it is for young citizens to be accountable, to start take accountability very seriously at whatever level they find themselves.
Thank you so much. So most of the issues we have around accountabilities are also built from the grassroots, where a party chairman cannot be questioned on what happened to the fund of the party. And given that parties are vehicles for political advancement, that is where to start from. Young people should be able to ask them. Local government, they are budgeting every day. They have town halls, they are public hearings at the local government councils. Young people should go in and ask questions. Last year, you budgeted for what's it called? You budgeted to support strengthening farmers or marketers of perishable goods. What happened to that funding? Why haven't we seen the improvement? They need to ask that question. They need to ask the education. Is this education producing the right outcome that we need? Are we job creators or job seekers? Is the education helping us to think critically as young people and shape up our future, or people who should memorize things? Young people should begin from that point. Ask, question the system, demand to know what the budget is. Most local government budgets are in secret. You don't even know what their budget is, yet they receive allocations. Some local government receive as high as 500 million naira for 30 days in this country. And you hear that governors at the end of the day will take back the money from them. They just leave like 5 million, 10 million naira for them. Where does this money go? You know, young people should ask questions. Perhaps that is why the roads are not constructed. Perhaps that is why the schools are being ravaged by insecurity. Perhaps that's why poverty is staring us on the face across board. Young people should ask questions. And now is the best time. Political processes are on. Ask them, demand accountability at all point. And then, of course, we can begin to add our voices more and more. And then they will hear us more. The more noise we make, the more discomfort we make to people who are controllers of accountability actors and are able to then free up information that is required and strengthen the system. So this is what I think we can do. We can ask more, make more noise, and make sure they are not asleep. Let's demand for accountability. And of course, as citizens, we must also, beyond that demand, take action, join the process. You yourself can become a leader, join the process, and make sure you register with the party, given that that's the vehicle to become a leader in Nigeria. Ask questions, you know, and get involved at that level. And with this, I feel that we can and we should be able to improve things. And they have the population. Young people can do it. And once they start making noise, the elders and the mid-men who are looking or have stayed aloof will run away and give space. So the space is theirs to run.
To take.
Yes.
Well, you heard it from us. This is a wonderful discussion. I have so much notes that I've taken down. I hope you, the listeners, did same. And it's going to help you to learn and also how you begin to engage with your leaders. They are responsible to answer to you. Also on our conversation, Mr. Aku drew our attention on the power you have as a youth through your voter's card. On election, during election, that power resides in you. If you are the only person that votes, you are already showing the person that this power is in my hands and I am ready to take action for myself. So I hope as you listen, you got insights just the same way we did. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on this segment of our podcast. Pleasure. It was really an honor having you.
Thank you for having me.
Give our listeners such insights. And I hope this will also begin to shape our democracy, our electoral process for you to engage actively as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So on this episode, we say bye-bye. I remain your host, BENEDICTA ADYO.